Holland that he lost a rear wheel. He knew, at least he drove it back in finally and really thought they were going to put a new wheel back there. He wanted to go back out. There was nothing spectacular about it. He wasn't trying to show off or anything. He was just determined to try to win that race. Or go back to Long Beach when he passed Regazzoni, then got bumped out by Clay. That was a risk, but a calculated risk. He thought Clay would let him through, leave him an opening intentionally. So he went to pass even though it was fairly tight. But Clay didn't let him through. But in principle, if you've already been lapped and you see a faster car trying to pass, you should let the fast car go through because you've fallen behind. You can't win. And at Long Beach, that wasn't what happened. Gilles, he went to pass and Clay wasn't going to let him, that's all.
Villeneuve is fighting Jones off tenaciously, and Jones has fallen back once again. Now it looks as though Jones is going to pass no matter what the price. They're going into the turn together, and it's Jones. Jones has the lead, and Villeneuve has fallen back. Regazzoni will place third, well back of the leader Jones, who has successfully fought Villeneuve's final burst in the stretch.
For Gilles, finishing third or fourth could be as satisfying as winning if it was a good hard race full of jockeying for positions or scrapping it out and dueling man-to-man, like the time at Dijon when he fought so hard to come in front of Arnoux. Arnoux and Gilles were bumping all the way through, and Gilles loved it. The satisfaction was incredible.
Villeneuve, 1 lap to go. Trying to hold off. Arnoux will come right down to the checkered flag. Jabouille in front. This will be his race. The Renaults, who have not finished races well in the past, are going to do it today. Here they come another time. Into the last lap, into the final lap. Jabouille well into it. And here down to the inside goes Arnoux, and he's going to make a move. And that little Villeneuve held him off again. His front legs locked up, and they're going around side by side. And touched again. They touch again. Arnoux gets into it, but he goes way low into the bottom of the course. Arnoux runs over the concrete. Villeneuve comes back on the inside. They touch wheels another time. They're bouncing off each other in the final lap of this game. Villeneuve must have bent the suspension. They've bounced off each other about 3 times, and I've never seen a display like this. Villeneuve goes back up, Arnoux beside him. You'd think they had stock cars out there, the way they're leaning on each other, David. This is unbelievable in open-wheel racing to knock each other about like that. Gilles Villeneuve is back to second place. Arnoux will get one more challenge on the fastest part of the course. Will that twin turbo just outpower the Ferrari at the line? This is incredible. Lap traffic in the way. Both by that safely. Here's your winner. Jabouille is across the stripe very slowly, but everyone is focusing on second place. Will it be a Renault sweep, or will Gilles Villeneuve hold on to second place? They're coming down to the line. They're into the main straightaway. To the stripe. In second place is Villeneuve. Arnoux will finish in third. They come up side by side. I wonder what they're saying to each other, David.
Last summer, Gilles drove in Spain and was able to hold all the other drivers behind him. And he felt more pride, more satisfaction over that race than maybe any of them. I mean, he won, but the biggest, most important part of that victory for Gilles was having an average or not the best car and still beating the other ones.
They're coming up to the finish of this classic race. 5 drivers have driven 20 laps wheel to wheel, pushing themselves and their machines to the limit. 5 drivers from 5 different teams who will be separated by barely more than 1 second at the finish line. It's diabolical the way Villeneuve has successfully held off Lafitte, Watson, Reutemann, and De Angelis.
Oh, to him it was much more than pleasure. It was a drug, a need to race. He couldn't live without it. He couldn't, I mean, he was addicted to competition and to proving himself over and over again every time he raced. I think he just loved to show what it took to be good. And he was pretty good after all.
Oh, well, Gilles, I don't know if he's the best yet, but he must be right on top among your crème de la crème that drove Formula One. I know that no human being can do a miracle. Nobody commands magical properties or anything. But Gilles made you wonder. He was that quick. You had to respect his spirit, his will to win, along with his great driving skills as well. He had everything. He could put you away in a flash if you lost your concentration out there. I mean, his mastery over his car, he never lost it. At Paul Ricard, he was doing some practice laps one time. I'll never forget it. He was going 260 on the back stretcher. He took all four wheels off the middle out onto the shoulder completely. And those speed bumps are hard to handle. And then he got the inner two wheels on the interior up onto the gravel. So gravel spewing all over the place, on the one side and on the other, and the cars jumping up and down. And Gilles, he was ecstatic. He got in, he was laughing, he had the whole track in stitches.
That's right. You know, I remember that Jody stopped asking for lifts with Gilles. He kept complaining about the way Gilles drove. But then Gilles got a lift with Jody, and I mean, you should have heard him after that. Well, he came home and... What does he mean complaining about my driving? You should see him. He's a maniac. He said, I'll never set foot in a car with him again.
Most of the people, was there no difference? Because Gilles was always racing. Doesn't matter was in a Ski-Doo or there was in his Jeep that he drove around, or there was in a helicopter that, I remember when I taught first time Gilles flying the helicopter, you know, the first minute or the first hours in helicopter flying, he learned from me. And I remember we were in Mandelieu flying together, and Gilles got in a helicopter, and he's the only man that I ever saw that after 3 hours flying knew how to hover a helicopter, keep the helicopter in a spot. And with the driving on the road, I remember one day asking for a favor to take my BB Ferrari to maintenance. By the time he took a maintenance, I got a car. He brought me the car back. I needed more maintenance before he took that car over there. So I don't know if there was any difference. He forgot that my personal car did not belong to Ferrari, that I had to pay the maintenance on that. That's not a racing car. But Gilles always waited to the last minutes, and then took him 2.75 of an hour from Monte Carlo to Fiorano, and that's normal people. Normal people drive roughly 5 hours, and you know, if you are really quick, you can make it 3.5. But Gilles made it in 2 and 45 minutes. So I think it's no wonder I needed a new car after Gilles took it a few times to maintenance.
Oh, speeding tickets were fine. We just paid him up. Some drivers can go far more quickly than you or me, but still be in control. I mean, you know, speed is relative, and we'd drive, and I knew that I was going faster in my head than he was in his head, all right? So it's relative, and if you're accustomed to it, normality is relative. If you keep seeing objects going by quickly, well then going quickly becomes normal for you.
Well, you try to keep the risk at a minimum, and your best safety measure is to have complete knowledge of the limit of your car. Let's say its braking point. And whenever you reach it or go beyond it, you will instinctively pull back, and immediately you will make your fear keep you from going past the limit. And making your fear work for you is what keeps you alive in racing.
I think when I saw Francois Savert was killed, I was the first pilot onto the accident, and it was the first time that ever I thought